So this Ed Puzzle mini lesson is divided into two parts. The first part is a short 8-minute and 51-second video that describes the 16 habits of mind. Here we go.
We need to use our mind, and vice versa. Both play an interconnected role in what we need in order to maintain a job, relationships, learning, daily responsibilities, and moreover, when displayed with consistency, success. Put these two words together and we have habits of mind. Life would be grand if we could travel a road of leisure with no hardships or bumps along the way. Although, think about it. If life were that simple, what would that teach us? Yes, taking in the beautiful scenery, having no worries, and doing what we want, when we want, is a great thought, but that's not reality. Instead, in life, we all experience curves, detours, bends, and windy roads that throw us for a loop. It is here where we need to make decisions that affect our actions and behaviors and how to proceed. A stop in the road should not deter people from moving forward to reach their destination. Instead, it should provide opportunity and motivation to bypass that stop by finding an alternative route to reach their final destination. Without this mindset, people will not be able to overcome and reach success. Students need to figure out a way to overcome. And this is something we see every day within the classroom. This is where the habits of mind need to come into play. In the rest of this presentation, you will be introduced to 16 habits of mind. The unique part of these 16 habits is that they can be used in all aspects of life and learning. In the classroom, they represent what we all look for within our students, and they provide a common language and vision of behaviors we would like our students to model in the classroom. In addition, not only are there 16 habits beneficial for students, they also serve as an effective model for teachers to display. The first habit of mind is persisting. Persisting is the ability to push through. In the classroom, when you set a goal for yourself to finish an assignment, project, or activity, and keep going until the goal is met without giving up, that's persisting. Think about Tom Brady, the quarterback for the New England Patriots. If he did not persist day in and day out on the practice field, do you think he would have 6 Super Bowl rings? I don't think so. Managing impulsivity. This is when one remains calm when stressed or challenged. Many times throughout the day, we come across situations that can make us stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed. By taking time to think things through and not overreact allows one to think with a clear mind. What if an artist did not manage their impulsivity when painting a piece of art? Do you think the painting will be successful? Probably not. An artist needs to remain calm, focused, and patient. The next habit of mind, listening with understanding and empathy, is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. One of the most important attributes in life is the ability to actually listen. Put forth the energy to recognize, understand, and see things from another perspective. When in a conversation, hold your thoughts until the person is done speaking, and you'll gain clarity. Thinking flexibly is being able to think outside the box, finding another way to solve a problem, use a different solution, or convey your ideas through a different approach. An example would be solving a math problem. There's not just one way to solve it. Instead, invite students to show their ways. In other words, show their ability to think flexibly. Metacognition, or thinking about your thinking, is understanding yourself in relation to feelings, strategies, thoughts, and the impact of your effect on others. Many times in the classroom, students demonstrate metacognition through journaling, organizing, and giving their thoughts pertaining to their learning. Think about when you study for a test. Is your way the same way everyone else's? And everyone else does it? More than likely not. Next habit, striving for accuracy. Striving for accuracy is a critical part of being successful in completing projects, essays, and assignments. It is making sure all your work is perfect. Although it is hard to be perfect, we should always strive for accuracy by checking things twice, 3, 4, even 5 times before submitting. How do you think most NBA players are so consistent with making their foul shots? They strive for accuracy. Shot after shot after shot, you get it. Next habit, question imposing problems, is the act of figuring out the what and how do I know something. When teachers ask the right questions in the classroom, it allows for missing pieces to be filled in. As for students, when they ask questions and pose problems, they are leading their thinking toward a desire for deeper understanding. And always, remember, there are no dumb questions. The next habit, applying past knowledge to new situations, is using prior learning to assist in understanding other concepts or ideas. Think about it. In order to understand how to write an essay, a student must have knowledge of how and what a paragraph looks like. The more we build on our prior learning, the better we will comprehend. The next habit of mind, thinking and communicating with clarity and precision, is the ability to be clear and concise with conveying your ideas. This is done in speaking and in writing. by always being mindful of taking your time and pronouncing your words at a pace that gets your point across. That's clarity and precision. Within writing, taking your time and proofreading is key to making sure what you want to convey is clear. Gathering data through all senses is the ability to observe and connect information to the five senses: taste, touch, hearing, smell, and sight. As a teacher, recognizing how your students learn best is important. Everyone is different and learns in different ways. So, be mindful of how the senses can work for you and your students within your instruction. Creating, imagining, and innovating is the ability to develop something new and creative. By infusing this habit into something within the learning environment or even outside of school, you are supporting your students to be original and unique in their construction of ideas, learning avenues, and thinking. If it wasn't for some of the greatest inventors in the world like Ben Franklin, Alexander Graham Bell, and others, life would not be what it is today. Responding with wonderment and awe is an important piece for inspiring students within the classroom. If we want students to be excited about learning, we need to display that excitement. As teachers, when we model this habit, the more inclined our students will be in finding the same excitement in learning. The next habit of mine, taking responsible risk, is important in all walks of life. Risks need to be nurtured and grown from an early age within the educational setting. By offering students opportunities to take risks that are safe and in a comfortable environment brings forth a culture where failure is accepted. And always focus on ways to learn from failure and to not let it stop you. That leads to success. Finding humor brings forth the feeling and visual of lightening up the mood, something we always need at points in our lives. Being able to laugh at yourself and at appropriate times in the classroom serves as a wonderful outlet for stress and anxiety. And it's healthy for us. So you know what? Go ahead, laugh a little. Thinking interdependently. This is the ability to work with others. Often this takes the form of listening to one another, asking questions, and successfully completing a goal. As teachers, the more we work on these skills in the classroom, the more inclined students will be in transferring this habit into real-life situations and in the working environment beyond high school. And the last habit of mine, remaining open to continuous learning. This habit is what keeps us as humans interested and focused on wanting to learn more. Modeling this habit in class by offering...
So this is part 2 of the mini lesson for this week. And when you watch this TED Talk, you want to think, well, what would be the habits of mind that are represented in this TED Talk based on the 16 habits of mind you just reviewed in the first Ed puzzle? Have fun with this. It does create wonderment, awe, and humor.
Because I have a very important message. I think we have found the most important factor for success. And it was found close to here, Stanford. Psychology professor took kids that were 4 years old and put them in a room all by themselves. And he would tell the child, a 4-year-old kid, Johnny, I'm going to leave you here with a marshmallow for 15 minutes. If after I come back, this marshmallow is here, you will get another one. So you will have 2. To tell a 4-year-old kid to wait 15 minutes for something that they like is equivalent to tell us, we'll bring you coffee in 2 hours. Exact equivalent. So, what happened when the professor left the room? As soon as the door closed, 2 out of 3 ate the marshmallow. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes. Some lasted 14 and a half minutes. Couldn't do it. Could not wait. What's interesting is that 1 out of 3 would look at the marshmallow and go like this. Would look at it, put it back. They would walk around. They would play with their skirts and pants. That child already at 4 understood the most important principle for success, which is the ability to delay gratification. Self-discipline, the most important factor for success. 15 years later, 14, 15 years later, follow-up study. what did they find? They went to look for these kids who were now 18 and 19, and they found that 100% of the children that had not eaten the marshmallow were successful. They had good grades, they were doing wonderful, they were happy, they had their plans, they had good relationship with the teachers, students, they were doing fine. A great percentage of the kids that ate the marshmallow, they were in trouble. They did not make it to the university, they had bad grades, some of them dropped out, a few were still there with bad grades, a few had good grades. I had a question in my mind. Would Hispanic kids react the same way as the American kids? So I went to Colombia and I reproduced the experiment, and it was very funny. I used 4, 5, and 6 years old kids. And let me show you what happened.
Hasta para un niño de 4 años es atractiva la idea de tener el 100% de retorno a la inversión en 15 minutos. Sin embargo, algunos de ellos, tan pronto la puerta se cerró, se comieron el marshmallow inmediatamente. Otros, en cambio, resistieron el impulso.
So, what happened in Colombia? Hispanic kids, 2 out of 3 ate the marshmallow, 1 out of 3 did not. This little girl was interesting. She ate the inside of the marshmallow. In other words, she wanted us to think that she had not eaten it, so she would get 2, but she ate it. So we know she'll be successful, but we have to watch her. Okay? She should not go into banking, for example, or work in a cash register, but she will be successful. And this applies for everything, even in sales. The salesperson that customer says, I want that, and I say, okay, here you are. The person ate the marshmallow. If the salesperson said, wait a second, let me ask you a few questions to see if this is a good choice, then you sell a lot more. So this has applications in all walks of life. I end with the Koreans did this. You know what? This is so good. We want a marshmallow book for children. And we did one for children, and now it's all over Korea. They're teaching these kids exactly this principle, and we need to learn that principle here in the States because we have a big debt. We're eating more marshmallows than we're producing. Thank you so much.
Students opportunities to want to learn from others.